and their understrength 1st and 4th tank armies. With only 200,000 men, 100 artillery pieces, and just 258 T-34 and 40 KV-1 heavy tanks to fight the powerful German 6th Army. Outnumbered, the Russians must fight a desperate rearguard action to delay the Germans crossing the River Don.
Well, a decision was made as soon as we were aware that the Germans came out to the Don. We were told to immediately organize 2 tank armies. We would defend this high ground here. We could not let the Germans through. We had to stop them. All of us lived with that idea in mind. That was our task.
July 27th, 1942. The Germans advance on the River Don to seize the main crossing just 65 kilometers from Stalingrad. But the Russian 1st Tank Army launches a counterattack to stop them. With the 1st Tank Army is Lieutenant Vasily Krysov, leading a platoon of KV-1 heavy tanks.
A series of green flares soared into the sky, the signal for the attack. Our engine roared, and our KV moved out towards the enemy. It was beginning to grow lighter, and the Germans opened a storm of fire. One shell exploded about 20 meters ahead of our tanks. Almost immediately, a second shell glances off our left side.
We had heavy Clement Voroshilov tanks, KVs. They have quite thick armor.
Hey everyone, I've got some exciting news. Bam! Check it out! And
the KV-1 heavy tank is a 43-ton monster. Its 76mm main cannon is lethal even at long range, and with 75 millimeters of frontal armor, it's the most heavily armored tank on the battlefield.
The tanks accelerated, making sharp maneuvers, and shell strikes continued glancing off their sides.
Our tanks went out and had 15 to 20 dents from the shells.
The Russians always formed waves of tanks and sent them forward as a huge, massive hammerhead, not as the Germans as a flexible maneuver force, but just as a blunt instrument.
Toilet, stop! There's a gun just under the tree. Anti-personnel shell. Fire! Fascist gun fell silent, and for good. 2 tanks were burning to the right. Serov's tank to my left hit a struck a mine. A second gun was now firing at our tank. The Germans managed to hit us 3 times, but the shells hadn't penetrated the armor.
German cannons could not destroy the armor of heavy tanks. That is why tanks were used to break the enemy's defense and destroy the permanent weapon emplacements of the enemy.
Toilet, crush the gun!
The KV-1 tanks storm into the village, but now face a more deadly foe.
Since both sides often try to break through the other side, the tanks got closer and closer.
Our brigade moved towards a farm where the main enemy panzer group was positioned. The ensuing combat was fierce. A Panzer IV tank quickly moved in our direction.
The battle in the Eastern Front was tanks rolling into a good position, standing, aiming very slowly for modern eyes, and then shooting. It was kind of a duel often.
Halt! Armor piercing. Fire! The German gunlayer beat us to the punch. However, after the hit by our shell, the German tank blew up. Serov's crew also set fire to a tank.
Oh shit. Hey, what's up, brother? I was watching history documentaries. That's what I do. I literally wake up, turn this game on, then watch history. What's up, man? How's your day? I don't know what time it is over there. It's like 4 in the morning over here. So if I look tired, that's why. I'm not stoned. I just woke up. Whoa. I'm trying to get something done with this warrior deck. I don't quite have the cards for it yet, but it's going all right. I'm probably winning at 50% rate on this guy, which is okay. It's not really optimal, obviously, but we'll get it together. Can you hear me? You can hear me, right? Oh.
You want to cast a spell? I want to cast a spell.
No, Wampi's such a good card. Let's see what's up.
The wand picks you.
I want to do this, but I only want to cast it for its corruption. I really just don't want to draw a minion unless it gives it +2/+1. Yeah, my overall goal is to be able to make a what do you call it? I just lay this down. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Get some board advantage. No, sweet. Hey, thanks for the follow on your other account. I appreciate it. We're up to like 12 or 13 now. And just the other day when you watched me, I think I had 3. So we're moving on up. Yeah, I definitely want to get a rush thing going. I think that would be really awesome. These freeze mages are actually pretty good. I bought a couple of these guys. I don't want to do a flame strike. I feel like that's coming.
Breaking story. Loot. Make a smash. Loot to the poker.
I wonder.
You want it?
Not 10, 15. Five, eight.
I wonder.
I'm really not trying to get flame strike, but what can you do?
Finally, a second chance.
This card's fucking sweet, bro.
An incredible discovery!
I don't want to play this, but I really can't risk him
Let me
getting
work my
me,
magic.
yeah, I can risk it.
Let me work my magic. My blade be thirsty.
Make a smash. I must choose.
What to do? What to do?
Surprised this dude doesn't have a flame strike in his deck.
True mastery takes dedication.
Well played.
I strike. Well played.
Sweet. We're now orange. Well, I'm gonna go back to watching my history documentary, bro. So just chat me up. You know what I mean? Because I'm fucking sitting here bored. So let me know what's up.
They kept the enemy back for the whole month at great cost of life. And they gave our high command, our general staff, a chance to accumulate and move up the reserves to Stalingrad in order to defend it.
С тем, чтобы его оборонять.
In 1 month's fighting, the Russians lose over 300,000 men and 1,000 tanks. And by August 23rd, the first tank army has been all but wiped out. Now there is nothing to stop the hundreds of German tanks pouring across the River Don and reaching the banks of the River Volga at Stalingrad. The enemy is at the gates. The Russian defenders now face a fight for survival.
Most of all, we were feeling emotionally that we would fight for Stalingrad.
Сражаться за Сталинград.
Yes, we will resist. We will resist this fight.
Выстоим и этот бой.
June 1942. A year after Hitler's invasion of Russia, his armies have suffered 1 million casualties. Desperate to finish off the war in the east, Hitler launches Operation Blue. By August 23rd, Hitler's 6th Army stands at the gates of Stalingrad, the Russians' last line of defense. If the city falls, nothing can stop the Germans from winning the war in the east. Now, to prepare the way for his ground assault, Hitler sends hundreds of planes to bomb the city, terrorize its people, and crush their resistance.
The city was on fire. The city was destroyed.
The German air bombardment kills 40,000 men, women, and children. The survivors scramble from the ruins as the first German tanks begin their assault on the city. The German plan: attack Stalingrad from 3 directions. Seize the main boat landing on the River Volga, cutting off reinforcements, and capture the city. The speed and ferocity of the German assault stuns the Russian defenders. They scramble to the outskirts of the city to repel the attack with anti-tank rifles.
We went on a counter-offensive battle to cut off the Germans that had broken through to the Volga as a company commander of anti-tank guns. Now 20 tanks were coming to us from the Volga River toward infantry lying in an open field.
Шли на лежащей пехоты на открытом поле.
There were 16 anti-tank rifles, each 2.5 meters long.
Длиной
The biggest problem for us was the anti-tank rifles. They used projectiles that penetrate the light armor, and they caused quite some damage to us.
Und das hat bei uns dann entsprechende Verluste gebracht.
I personally saw the power of an anti-tank bullet.
пули.
The bullet pierced the outer armor first, frontal armor. Some of its fragments could strike a crew member of the enemy tank.
Поражала
and one of the fragments might get into the gas tank, causing it to catch on fire and explode.
Один из сегментов мог попасть в бензобак. Загорелся бы там.
They set one tank on fire, then another. A third started spinning, and the rest of the tanks stopped.
Видимо, гусеницу завертелся, армада танков остановилась.
At that time, I would say, they were still on the defensive, but they fought to the last man. At first we were winning, of course, but under difficult circumstances.
Unter schweren Bedingungen.
Despite Russian resistance, German tanks seized Stalingrad's northern suburbs, threatening to capture the nearby tractor factory that has been converted to produce T-34 tanks. This factory is one of the last left under Soviet control, so they desperately need to keep it out of enemy hands.
At that plant, I formed a tank squadron. We were ready. So, we were together with Workers' Brigade, with People's Volunteers, and with Fighter Battalions.
Short of men and tanks, the factory workers and the T-34 tanks they have just assembled are led by Soviet Army officers directly from the factory floor into battle.
The Soviets were masters of mass production. The T-34 was not a beautiful tank, but they could produce this tank in vast numbers in a very short time.
The T-34 has a simple design. A powerful 76mm main gun, 45mm of sloped frontal armor, and a top speed of 40 kilometers an hour. It is the workhorse of the Red Army.
The T-34 was a brilliant mixture of mobility, armor, and firepower.
And now the Russians will need that firepower.
Suddenly, the commander of the armored units rushed to us, and he said that German troops broke through by the Volga right to the plant. Well, the command we received was to move there and stop the tanks by the river. The commands I gave were simple. Follow me, do as I do. The attack was very powerful.
The projectile of the T-34 penetrated our armor and was therefore able to destroy us more easily.
Several tanks were hit. The Germans also lost a lot of tanks and their grenadiers.
When you see the first dead or wounded fellow soldiers, and you see how terrible it all was, I was very scared.
We advanced in columns and forced the Germans out. That was my baptism of fire.
The first day of the battle has been a deadly one for the people of Stalingrad. They have repelled the German attack, but suffered tens of thousands of casualties, and the city is now surrounded on three sides. General Vasily Chukov now takes command of the besieged city. And if it falls, so too will the entire Soviet defensive line, and the war in the east will be lost. Chukov sends a message to the Soviet High Command. We will defend the city or die trying. He turns every street and every building into a death trap, as the Germans will soon find out.
Damn, that was a dangerous situation. We stirred up a hornet's nest.
October 1942. The battle for Stalingrad has been raging for 83 days at a cost of over 500,000 Russian and German soldiers. Hitler's armies surround the city on 3 sides. If General Chukov and the Soviets lose Stalingrad, they will lose the war in the east, so they vow to defend the city to the last man.
Stalingrad became for them the symbol of this holding the line, so they decided to defend the city furiously. And that's the reason why Stalingrad became such a culmination point of fighting on the Eastern Front.
The German plan was to bomb Stalingrad, hoping to crush resistance in the city. But 2 months later, their plan has backfired. The massive bombing raids have transformed Stalingrad into a deadly killing ground. Rubble-filled ruins provide 1,000 places for lethal ambushes.
We actually had urban warfare for the very first time during all these years of the war. That was something new for us.
The German attack is bogged down in fierce street fighting. Its mighty panzer armies can't maneuver easily through the ruined urban battleground. Funneled down streets, they fall prey to General Chukov and his men.
Masses of enemy infantry, supported by tanks, swept along the road from the tractor factory.
We drove in a file down the middle of the street because you can't maneuver the vehicles otherwise. We continued on until that moment when I spotted the tanks.
Our tank crews met an enemy attack with concentrated fire.
They were basically superior to us. We stirred up a hornet's nest.
10 enemy tanks immediately went up in flames. German generals sent up more and more fresh units in waves. The German tanks, coming under fire from our T-34s, turned back.
And the vehicles pulled out to get out of the fire line of the Russian tanks. Afterwards, you say to yourself, damn, that was a dangerous situation.
All across the city, German casualties mount as the Russians repel the invaders. With each small victory, the Russians weaken the German attack while buying time to strengthen their own forces. Hitler is determined to press for victory before the Soviets can counterattack. But the city cannot be conquered with mass tank attacks. The German soldier will have to take Stalingrad in savage close-quarter fighting, street by street, building by building.
Stalingrad is a big city and has lots of buildings. In general, going into a house during urban warfare is usually very dangerous. We took cover in the holes, and there we would sit and wait for the tanks to come close enough to shoot them. The rule of thumb was, whoever shoots first wins and survives. One of them was driving along the main streets, with one of our scouts following him on his motorcycle, throwing hand grenades on the T-34. The tank was shooting crosswise. The gun was pointed like this. So after he shot, I thought, now I get out quickly and deposit the charge on his rear. We would try to deposit the charge on top of the engine on the rear of the tank. But he had obviously seen me. He turned very fast and shot. A splinter injured my head and I was unconscious. The scout dragged me to the side of the street so the tank wouldn't overrun me, and threw the remaining grenades onto the T-34.
Geballte Ladung auf den Panzer drauf.
1942. After months of savage street fighting, the Russians have lost hundreds of thousands of men. They hold just a few small pockets of the city with their backs against the Volga River, and they are running critically low on food and ammunition.
Well, the situation was very difficult. The fate of our motherland hung by a thread.
The Germans prepare for their final push to destroy the stubborn Russian resistance in the city. But the battle is far from over. The Soviets plan a new offensive with their last reserves of men and tanks. A final gamble that will turn the tide of the Second World War. After 5 months of brutal fighting, the Germans have conquered almost all of Stalingrad. The Russian defenders, surrounded with their backs to the River Volga, are desperate. Hoping to break the siege, the Soviet High Command comes up with a daring plan. Operation Uranus. The plan: Soviet armies, a total of 800 tanks and 1 million men, will attack simultaneously from the southeast and north, cut through the German lines, and join up at Kalach on the Don River to encircle the German 6th Army besieging Stalingrad. On November 19, 1942, the Soviets launched their attack.
The big attack on Stalingrad by the Russians started. But this had been so well prepared by the Russians, and they had so many forces there, that there was no way we were going to get through.
Dass überhaupt nicht dran zu denken war, durchzukommen.
It's a bold move. Russian tanks smash through weak enemy resistance in just 2 days and storm across the River Don at Kalach. Manning a machine gun with the German units defending the river crossing is Günther Koschorek.
We can now hear other noises, the droning of diesel engines and the squeaky clatter of tank tracks. The Russians are already across the Don. Then the T-34s emerge from the haze. I count 5 of the steel giants. I've never seen an enemy tank this close before, and it looks very menacing. He stops at the edge of the trench with his broadside towards us. Suddenly he backs up. He has spotted us and is turning his turret towards us. The shell strikes home just meters behind us. And he lowers his gun and aims directly at us. Suddenly the tank is literally blown apart. The pioneers call over to us that they have destroyed it with a couple of mines.
Koschorek survives, but the bigger picture is bleak for the Germans. The two Soviet forces link up at the Don River, trapping the 250,000 men of the 6th German Army in Stalingrad.
We understood that here we did something extraordinary. And when the commanding officers drive up, they shake hands, praise us, and then they start telling us, "You guys, we have encircled a huge army."
Operation Uranus has cut off vital supply lines, and shortages of food, fuel, and ammunition are quickly felt by the Germans in Stalingrad. Hitler must act quickly, or the entire 6th Army will be lost. German High Command plans a relief mission, Operation Winter Storm. The plan: elite panzer divisions, a total of 250 tanks and 50,000 men, will punch through Soviet lines, open a corridor to Stalingrad through which the 6th Army can escape. December 12, 1942. Operation Winter Storm begins. Desperate to counter the rescue attempt, the Russians hurriedly send a force to intercept the advancing German tanks near Verkhny Kumsky. But the German commander, General Erhard Rauss, has set a deadly trap.
Russian forces poured out of Verkhny Kumsky at dawn. In long columns, the tank units of this division were advancing. This area was situated in the valley.
Die Stärke unserer Panzer
It was
war,
the strength of our tanks that they were able to maneuver themselves into tactical, favorable positions. And it was crucial for our tanks to bring themselves into a position, preferably where they couldn't be seen by the enemy, from where they could easily get the Russian tanks from the side.
an der Flanke zu packen sind.
All of a sudden, German tanks appeared on the snow-covered hills. They slowly advanced towards their victims, who as yet were unaware of their imminent disaster. A concentric attack began, with the complete encirclement of the Russian brigade. The enemy suddenly saw more than 200 tanks descend from the hills and fall upon his columns.
The pleasure is mine. Home in the shadows.
Job's done.
Better be something good.
Deal with them.
Job's done.
Better be something good. I didn't need it anyway. A little something I whipped up.
Well played.
Well played.
Do try to keep yourselves alive.
Jesus Christ, bro. Fucking asshole, bro. Just in the match.
protect the wild.
Victory or death!
Damn, that was close.
Tadingo! Yeah.
Power overwhelming.
I can take the hit.
I am the spell weaver.
Cat.
for no one. What now?
None can stand against the Serpent Lords.
You're in my school now!
Overwhelming. You gonna cry?
I can take the hit.
Armor made to fit.
I can take the hit. Brace for impact.
And the cycle of life is reborn anew. And the cycle of life is reborn anew.
Brace for impact.
Beneath the shadow of my wings. Tazdingo! Yes! Job's done. Who dares defy this? Do you hear, Aminor? I'm almost out of cards.
Time may pass.
Jesus Christ. This guy went pure late game. That's unreal, bro.
Time waits for no one.
Just didn't get what I needed.
I can wait no longer. Taste my blade. Job's done. Hard.
I cannot believe he went 3 late game cards like that. I thought for sure he'd run out of gas before he got this Ysera. Phew. Bro, I have to draw the dragon or I lose. It sucks, man. That's what sucks about this. There's no card draw.
made to fit. It seems you need another.
What? He just has pure gas. Oh my god, bro. Never lucky, bro. Never lucky.
Astonishing. Well played.
Dude, that guy got all his gas. Well, I mean, he has the card draw to get through it, and I don't. That sucks, man. This actually sounds kind of cool. I really don't like that. have any one-drop bees? No, let's try that.
Talking about this, so we're going to try again. I'm going to tell you about the Devil's Tree in Port St. Lucie, Florida. This tree has been voted by multiple magazines.
Let the hunt begin. Greetings, traveler. I greet you.
Jesus. I definitely get more on the minions and less on the spells.
The demon seed grows in power. I hunt alone. So many possibilities.
Arise, my champion.
Job done. Well played. Thanks. So many possibilities. Almost out of time. So many possibilities. I enjoy crushing nerves like you. Well played. I hunt alone.
as the most haunted place in Florida. It's located in Okamic Park, Port St. Lucie, and you can see the scar on it from where multiple people tried to cut down the tree to no avail. Someone even tried to burn the tree down, only for the fire to go out almost immediately. The monster behind the legend is this dude right here, Gerard Schaefer. In 1972, he killed 2 women at the Devil's Tree, but he has boasted to multiple people that there were several more victims. His MO was kidnapping women who were hitchhiking, tying them up, gagging them, hanging them from the tree, and then slicing their throat and decapitating them. Yeah, he was sick. Gerard used his power as a sheriff for Martin County to lure women into a false sense of security. The only reason he was caught was because one night when he had kidnapped 2 women, he got called away on a dispatch. He left them hanging from the tree, tied up but alive. They managed to escape.
Greetings, traveler. Greetings.
Oh, I stepped on a Frito. I don't like this.
That's your cue. Get out there.
Watch out. Yep. My ball.
Arise, my champions!